What's up, guys? I hope everybody's staying safe out there. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to test and change the rake on your guitar. Specifically, I'm using a Wii Les Paul, but if you have a different guitar that can rake, you'll still be able to take a lot from this video. So by changing your rake, specifically I mean lowering it. If you want to raise the rake on your guitar, really the only way is to lubricate the strum bar with something like WD-40. I may make a video on that at some point, but this is not that. Let's say you have a guitar like this one that is 3-3 and inconsistent in any way. We're going to be using tape to suppress the amount that it bounces back, because that's what creates the rake. And we're going to make it a 2-2. So that's my goal with this guitar, is to make it a 2-2. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it to whatever rake you want it to get it to. So let's get into it. First things first, we need to go to any menu screen in Clone Hero, and we're going to test out our guitar and assign a number to the strum bar. Oftentimes, you'll hear Clone Hero players say two numbers when they're talking about their strum bar, like 2-2 or 3-3, and those numbers are simply how many strums your guitar will input if you flick it. The first number meaning if you flick it down, and the second number meaning if you flick it up. So using that information, we're going to figure out what our guitar is right now. First, you need to flick it down and see where it lands. You can see that mine landed one below where it started, which means that it registered one original strum to go down, and then I saw it bounce back up, which means that's 2, and then it bounced back down again, which means 3. So that's 3 for our first number. That's 3 on the down. And on the up, you can see it does the same thing. It bounces up, and then right back, and then up 1. So this guitar is a 3-3. And you can see that a proper strum bar, when only hit once, will just register one strum in either direction. When you flick it is when the rake should activate. And the way this works basically is your strum bar is inputting the strum that you're putting into it, and then it's bouncing back and registering however many strums it bounces for. So using this knowledge, we can figure out how to change our guitar's rake, and knowing how to test it, we can basically use trial and error to get it to whatever rake we want it to be. So the first step is going to be opening up your guitar. You don't exactly have to open up your guitar, but to get the most consistent results, you're going to want to. Now, let's disconnect the neck from the body and take a closer look at this thing. So, there are many screw holes on the back of this thing, and each of these, unless you're lucky to have non-stock screws, are a TORX T10 screw. Now, to open this up, you will need a TORX T10 screwdriver. You don't really need one, but it is recommended. I'm going to show you a method on how to get this open without one, but of course, it's always recommended to get the most life out of your screws to get a TORX T10 screwdriver, and I'll link one below in case you want to buy one. But I do not have one, and I'm going to show you exactly how to get this open without one. Let's get a closer look. Alright guys, first you're going to want to take a look inside of each one of the screw holes on this guitar. There's a bunch on the back, and there's 4 on the front here. The 4 on the front actually contain Phillips head screws from my experience. I'm not sure why they're different, but yes, they should be Phillips heads in here, not T10 TORX. And all of these on the back should be the TORX T10. So take a look inside, and if it looks like this, it is indeed that. If it's something else, those are not the original screws that were in there, and it could be easier or harder for you to open. You'll have to figure that out yourself. So, the method that I'll be using to open up this guitar is using scissors. A big pair of scissors like this. The tips of these, from my experience, literally fit into these screws perfectly. I mean, they take out the screws just as good as a screwdriver. It's pretty crazy. Now, it may be a little easier for you to injure yourself with this, but I can assure you it will take the screws out. Just please be careful. Now, let's find here. I don't have screws in every one of these holes, but let's go ahead and stick it in there. It should fit right in. And just start unscrewing this bad boy. Bear with me here. Just take a few turns, but I don't have these in here very tight. There's no point to, considering how many times I have to open it up. And again, guys, I don't think I have to tell you to be careful if you're using my method here. But I should have done it. There's the screw. And now we need to repeat this process on the rest of the screws that we have and on the 4 Phillips heads that we have here, and we should be good to open this thing up. The reason we've opened this guitar up is to give it a nice clean. So this is essential for getting consistent results. I mean, some of these guitars have never been opened by anybody, and they are dusty. I can tell you guys, guitars are dusty on the inside. You want to give them a nice clean. Obviously, none of this electronic stuff, you don't want to touch that. Be very careful when you have your guitar open. Don't want to damage anything. But give this whole area of the body a nice clean. Give these little ledges on the strum bar, give them a nice clean. The little ridged pads below them, get all the dust out of there, you know what I mean? It really helps to get consistent results, because our goal is going to be to get the tape to stick on the inside of the guitar and on the outside of it. And we don't want the tape, peeling off at any point because it's sticking to dust. I mean, you want a nice firm connection there for the most consistent results. Now, the type of tape you want to use is going to be really any type of loose, very sticky tape. I like packing tape. It's just the absolute best. You can use Scotch tape. It doesn't stick as well. So, you'll have to adjust for that. If you're using Scotch tape, you're certainly going to want to open this up and clean everything. If you're using some sort of thicker tape, like duct tape, gonna be a little harder to get everything right in there. But it's still absolutely possible. I've used duct tape before. Just not quite recommended. So, we're going to start out by getting a nice thin strip off of this. Okay. Get a nice strip, about yay thick. Alright. And we are going to go to the front of the guitar now. And stick it through either side. One of the crevices here. Alright, probably not the best way to do it there, but we got it in. So I mean, what your goal is to get the tape in there. It's a little tough. I mean, this process is tedious, but this is the way to do it. So get a nice firm connection on the outside of the guitar first. Press down this little ridge here, and then press down the rest of it. And then stick your one of your nails inside, and kind of give the inside a head start. All right, try to get it sticking in there. You can use a little card like this. And as long as it fits in there, trying to get the tape sticking on the inside. After each piece of tape you put in, you're going to want to test the rake and see if it is the desired rake that you want. Now, I can tell you that one piece of tape right here is not going to make a difference for me. If you have a thicker tape than it could. So test it out, but this is absolutely not going to do anything for my guitar. So let's put another piece in. Get another equally sized piece. And so this first piece of tape we put in up at this corner. We're going to put the next one at this corner. Alright. So now as you can see, we have successfully put in 2 pieces of tape. And I'm going to continue to put tape in here. I'll probably put about 5 or 6 pieces in here, and then we'll test it out and see how it is. But with thinner tape, you're going to have to put quite a bit of it in there. Alright, as you can see, I now have 4 pieces of tape in there. And we're going to give the guitar a little test. So, let's plug it in. Alright, now we're going to flick the strum bar down. Oh, well, let's go to the middle here. Flick the strum bar down. And up. And, as you can see, it is still doing the same thing. So, let's put some more tape in there. Alright, let's give it a try now. Alright, that's the down. We're looking good there. And the up. We're looking good. It's bouncing right back to where we want it to be. So it's registering 1 strum. Let's say, for an example, for the down here, it's registering 1 strum going down, and then the second one going up right back to news. So we started on news. We'll strum down. Stays on news. And up. Stays on news. Alright. Now, we indeed have the rake we are looking for. Put your guitar entirely back together and play a few songs with it and see if it stays consistent. If it stays consistent, your job is done. You know, you were successful with it, and congrats, your strum bar is now raking differently. But if it's still inconsistent, then keep adding tape here and there. If you add too much tape and it doesn't rake as much as you want to anymore, then take those pieces out. Try smaller and bigger pieces. You know, it's a lot of trial and error. Eventually, you will get it consistent. Trust me. So I'll now put this guitar back together. And that's the end of the video, guys. I hope this helps you out. And that is how to change the rake on your guitar. Thanks for watching.